Well, hello and good afternoon, and welcome to another show on Praise Talk Show. My name is Praise. How are you doing on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon? You could be at work, you could be at home, but I pray that your day is going very well. I'm really grateful for what God is doing through our lives and even through the show, that it's really blessing the lives of many. So please, I want you to help me to be an announcer of good news this afternoon by sharing today's interview. We have a transition coach that will be speaking to us, and we'll be introducing her to you quite shortly. But do help us to spread the word out, and also invite others to listen to today's conversation. She's a transition and accountability coach. You know, many times we go through life and we don't know how God is preparing us to help others. So I believe that this is part of her testimony, helping women who have had setbacks in their lives journey through the process of moving on from being stuck to getting back on track. She having experienced a period of adversity herself, following the redundancy from a lucrative role as a financial accountant in the UK. Fumi, who bagged her first degree in chemistry at Lagos State University, Nigeria, then went on to study for a second degree in learning disability nursing. This interview, okay, she was going to speak to us women, and also it could affect men. But please help me welcome Lady Shabach to Praise Talk Show for the very first time.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Praise. Thank you for having me on. God bless you.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome. Yes, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. I was just gonna, you know what, in the UK, I'm a lover of tea. So I've got my mug of tea. So everyone join me as I drink. Don't mind me. I love my tea. I love my tea. Even in the sun, I'm drinking tea.
No problem with that. You know, one of the things that struck me with yourself is your book, From Adversity to Adventure. You know, and especially in this time when we have all been faced with some kind of adversity, you know, job wise, relationship wise, many people have had, you know, challenges in that. People are having, you know, mental health challenges as well. You know, job wise, you know, career wise, people have had to change just like yourself. So when I saw that, I thought, wow, this woman would have a message for many. And I like the fact that, you know, God has called you to women, but I know that there are many men that can also identify with this same thing. So I believe that conversation today will help someone. And with your story, not that you have written a fiction book, but you've written a book from your life story, you know, it would let somebody know that there is hope and there is a way to transition from the setback to the place where you're thriving. So please tell us, you know, I've just read your profile, Lady Shabach, but tell us how did you get to the place of writing the book itself?
All right. Okay. Thank you again, once again, for having me on, Pastor Praise. And also, I just want to give God all the glory, because without him, to be honest, I wouldn't be here. So I'm so grateful that God was involved, and God is involved. And this is the first message I want to let everyone know is whatever it is you're going through, especially if you're a child of God, God knows. But like I was saying to a friend a few days ago, a lot of the times it is just us, you know, that needs to take the action. God is ready. God knows that we're going to go through these things, you know, but he's just ready for us to see what, if we're going to learn anything from the experiences. So just like you have said, my name is Fumi. I love to be called Lady Shabach, and only because Shabach is a Hebrew word meaning to praise out God with a loud adoration. And it also means to triumph. And I love the sound of victory. Especially testimonies. I love testimonies. So I love it. I love to see it when people have gone through one thing and have come out better on the other side. So so my stage name is Lady Shabach, and I love to be called Lady Shabach. So that's my business name as well. So, and I currently work with the NHS as a learning disability nurse. I am also a certified life coach with specific focus in the area of transition. And like you said, I help women to regain and restore their confidence after a setback committing and holding them also to achieving their full potential. So in
Mm-hmm.
essence, I help women get back on track after a detour. So like you said, we all go through detours in life. We all go through setbacks in life. In fact, the book you mentioned, Adversity to Adventure, which I'll tell you how I came about writing the book, the first chapter talks about change is constant. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the pandemic has let us all understand that it does not matter so much how much you have so planned.
Mm-hmm.
Some things happen that are beyond our control.
That's right.
There are so many things that can happen beyond our control, but it
Yeah.
takes the preparation of our mind. It's so much more our mind that needs to be
Mm.
prepared in the case of any eventuality. All
Right.
right. So
Right.
prior to being a coach, I have spent a couple of years in the UK housing and charity sector, working in the customer service and accounting space. And I've worked, so my last organization where I worked, I had gone to work as an agency staff. So, and it was supposed to be a 2 weeks contract. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, whilst my 2 weeks was finishing, someone else was going on maternity leave. And then I had to cover that maternity leave. Um, and then the person never came back. So I got on to do the job. Even the agency was like, we sent you there for 2 weeks. This was, way back 1999, something like that. Um, and from customer service of assistant, actually, I went on to become a customer service officer. And then within the same organization, it was a housing association. I went on to become a finance officer. And one lesson that I want people to know to take from that is, so my transition from customer service to finance officer was because when the calls were coming in on the customer services phone, I would pick up questions about the finances. So that's the rent, the housing benefit, and things like that. And one thing I've noticed as I coach people, in this journey, is the fact that a lot of people, when they're doing something, and if they give them something else to do, they don't want to do it because they say, that's not my job. It's
Mm-hmm.
not my job. You
Mm-hmm.
never know where you're going to need that
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
So people should stop saying that's not my job. When somebody
Yes.
gives you something to do, just do it because you might need it later in life. So that's
That's
one thing I
right.
really want people to hold on to, not to say, oh, that's not my job, I'm not going to do that. There's wisdom in doing these things. You don't have to do it fully, but make sure you learn it. So obviously, anyway, when the opening came for the finance officer, I thought, oh, I've been taking the calls and I've been going to the previous finance officer and asking him questions. And then I would go back and answer the caller. So I got the role for the finance officer. And then management accountant position came up. I applied. And then obviously I got that. And then there was a merger within the organization. And then I became a financial accountant. Long story short, after about 10 years, in fact, I had gone, I mean, that was one thing I noted in the book as well. So I had just received a 10 years, what do you call it?
Award.
So I got an acknowledgement for 10 years of working, good work in the, uh, all the accolades. There was so much big. And then a few months after that, there was a call to say, oh, we need to see you in the HR office. And I thought, what could be happening? Is there another job coming up? I was so used to when there is a job coming up, I jump at it. But it wasn't to be. That was not it. It was actually a call to say, we're sorry, we've got to let you go.
Wow.
And I think my initial reaction wasn't that of shock or anger. I think it was numbness
Wow.
because I couldn't fathom it. I just thought, what's happening? I can't
Mm.
understand. Let me go where? I've been here in this organization. And to tell you, Pastor Praise, it's a Christian organization as well. So I
Mm.
loved it.
Wow.
So every morning, I remember every Monday morning then, we used to do a fellowship. Or,
Yeah.
it wasn't a black letter. It was, everyone in the organization. We used to do a Monday morning fellowship called Thank God It's Monday. And can I just say that I have actually taken that on now, and I actually do a live, sorry, not a live now, but sometimes I do live. But on Instagram now, I actually do what is called a Thank God It's Monday.
Thank God
So
it's
where I share
Monday.
nuggets. to encourage people for the week. So anyway, that was how I found myself in in the redundancy bracket. Um, so obviously, as time went on, I thought I was going to get back into the job market very easily, but it
Mm.
wasn't to be so. Different things were just happening. Didn't know what to do because I thought, okay, um, I'd apply for jobs. At some point, I started to apply for benefits, which I'd never done. And I thought, why would I be up
Mm.
there? The job was so lucrative. I had reached almost that peak. And
Mm.
then now I am going back to go on housing benefit, which I'd never done even since I came to this country. So why now? Why
Mm.
now? So there was a period of disorientation, uncertainty. I was losing momentum of my purpose and confused about the path that I needed to tread. So that was a lot for me. I was a Christian. I was going to church. I was serving. I was doing all due diligence. Everything was happening. So it wasn't like, oh, I didn't have faith. I did have faith. In fact, when I was working, because I was so used to selling bits and pieces at the time, so I would do Avon. All the things girls dabble into. I'll do Avon, Mary Kay, and this and that. So I thought, wow, this is a time maybe to start my own business. But even that it wasn't forthcoming like I wanted. I was trying, or perhaps another thing that I learned along the line was maybe I didn't have good mentorship back then. I mean, who is to say? But
Okay.
after going on and I couldn't do anything, I just thought, you know what? So running down the years, 2, 3, 4 years, I thought, you know what? I can't go on like this. I need to do something about my life. And then
Sure.
I went back to college. So I went back to college at the age of, what was I? So I got married in about 41, went back to college at 45,
Wow.
just to see what I needed to do. And what took me back to college was, whilst I was thinking of what to do, a little friend of mine, friend's sister, said to me, oh, sis, there's an opening for healthcare assistants where I work. Would you want to apply? I know you wouldn't want to do it because you're very she said to me, you're psychedelic. That's how she put it, because I worked in the city. She was used to the city lady, city woman. And she said, I'm not sure you want to do it, but at least it would fetch you something. Prior to this, I'd even babysat my friend's children and some other children. I was babysitting, you know. But I went back. I said to her, what? So the job you're telling me to go and do, is it a job? She said yes. So why are you saying that? I'm not going to steal, am I? No. I'm not going to sell my body? No. That's fine. It's a job. So I went for it. I went there, but to be honest with you, Pastor Praise, oh my God. After 1 week, I said to the manager, I'm resigning. This is too hard. I said, this is too hard. I can't do this. And she said, no, calm down. You can do what we call bank. I didn't know what bank was. I'd never worked in the healthcare sector. I didn't understood what it meant. I had always worked in the city. I had done my fair share of low paid jobs when I first came into the UK. And I didn't even do healthcare. I did other things, so this was my first time working as a healthcare assistant. But it was so tough that I wanted to give up. So I said, okay. Um, Funny enough, the manager said she knew. I didn't know her. This is another thing. I went there for an interview and she said, don't you know me? I said, no, I don't know you. She said, oh, your younger sister was my mate at university. I said, oh my God, why do I have to know somebody here? I just want to come and work and go. But anyway, as God will have it, she said, no, just do as the hours you can. You don't have to leave. And I started doing it. But obviously, I knew that was not where God wanted me. I knew it was a process I needed to go through. And then I did that and then started thinking, how can I do this better? Of course, I'm not cut out to be here. How can I be better? It's a process. Yeah, well, I found myself here. That is why I titled my book Adventure. adversity to adventure. Because sometimes we find ourselves in situations where we think, I am better than this. But the issue is, what are the lessons in that place where you found yourself that you can use to take yourself out into the place that you really desire to be?
Just to interrupt you there, just for a
Yes,
few seconds there. What I keep
yeah,
hearing is that it's your mindset.
it is the mindset. It's in
It
the
is the
mind.
mindset that has made a difference to wherever you have been. Because here you
That's
are
right.
asking, how can I be better?
Yeah,
Previously you said something
absolutely.
which really, is my ethos in life, is that never
Yeah,
say, this is not my job. Get on
yeah,
and do it,
yeah. That's right.
because you don't know where that experience would help you. But it's a mindset.
It
It's
is.
really a mindset,
It
and I really commend
absolutely
that.
is.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Please
it
go on. Please
absolutely
go
is.
on.
And I'll tell you,
Mm.
yeah, I'll tell you, Pastor Place, because when I was doing the job, I would go with my iPad. Interesting. Even as a healthcare assistant, they're looking at me like, who is this one? This is not office. So you know how we had a lot of my people there. So I knew how to. I'm a very outgoing, friendly person anyway. So I knew how to deal with them. I just shove them off. That's your business, that kind of a thing, and get on with it. But whilst I was doing, I was thinking, how can we do something better here? How can we do this better here? I don't like the way you do this with the clients and things like that. And I thought, okay, I'm here. God, what next? And that is where I think with Christians, with the level we need to get at, is instead of saying, why me? It's what next? I found myself here. Pandemic has happened. What next? People are still living in denial. Oh, he's going to stop this, he's going to stop. What if it doesn't stop? What next for you? It might not stop. We've come to a new normal. So we cannot be going about business as usual when it is no longer so. So anyway, I did the job for about 2 years, and I thought, okay, maybe I should go and be a nurse then, since I'm already in healthcare. And then I thought, okay, go to college and find out which of the nursing. I knew that I wasn't, even though people say otherwise. I mean, I don't know. Sometimes people look at you and they feel they know what you're cut out to do. But I
Okay.
felt I wasn't cut out to be a typical nurse, as
Mhm.
in you're in the hospital and just looking after the wounds and the physical ailment. I
Yeah.
wanted something more. I wanted something where I could talk to the people. So when I
Mhm.
went to college, I decided, whilst I was researching, that what, after looking at all the areas of nursing, I said, learning disability, it is for me.
Okay.
So I went on to be a learning disability nurse just because of the holistic way of looking after people who have learning disabilities. It's not just about physical ailment, it's about looking at their mental health, looking at their social life, looking at, it encompasses a whole lot of things. So that's how I went back. I did the college for a year, then went to uni to do 3 years, and a month shy of my 50th birthday, I graduated. Even my
Wow.
children, my daughter, when I borrowed her, I remembered when I said, "Oh, I've got a test. Can I have your biology textbook?" She was like, "Mom, are you serious?" I said, "Watch me. I am serious." But so yeah, so I went back to uni, and then I completed that by His grace in late
Mm.
2019, just before COVID started. So I mean, really and truly, all that I just wanted to point out by sharing that is the fact that it's not really what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens to you. So
Yes.
whatever it is,
Yes.
situation we find ourselves, whatever decision we make is really a choice.
Mhm.
And like I said, and like you pointed out as well, is all in the mind. If we can deal with our mindset, then every other thing will come into place. And that is
Yes.
where I also come in as a life coach as well, which, when
Yes.
I talk to people, this is what I share with them. It's your mindset. What do you want
Yeah.
to do? And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people first find difficult to identify. What is your
Mm.
purpose first? And then let's take it from there.
Yeah.
Let's take it from there.
I
So yeah,
agree.
that's how I went back into uni to be an
Yes.
elder.
I keep
Yeah,
hearing the question that you just asked, what's next? What's
yeah,
next? because there's a saying that no condition is permanent. But I
That's right.
believe that even though God orders our steps, we can also
Mhm.
contribute to it, while
Yeah,
we're in the valley of Baca, a
that's
place
right.
of Lord, I shouldn't be here. Why am
Yeah,
I here?
yeah,
But that question
yes,
is so important that you just mentioned what next, because
yeah.
what next would prepare you for the
Hmm.
next level or for the next journey, or for the
That's
next
right.
season of life, and I love the fact that all of that is, I think that's what has placed you as a transition coach, right? Transition and accountability coach, because you're saying
Yeah,
at the place of waiting, start
that's right.
thinking. Yeah. So
Yep.
tell us about that. Tell us about, because I
Yeah,
haven't met a transition
yeah,
and accountability coach.
yeah. Okay. So first of all, so when we talk, obviously, I said something because I launched my book in December 26th last year, which was my birthday as well, coincidentally. Well, not coincidentally, I chose to launch on my birthday. um, and the thing is, with adversity, and I said something on the day. I said I don't downplay anybody's adversity because adversity varies for different people. So my adversity that I went through, for instance, was redundancy. Some people could be loss. Some people could be breaking relationship. As long as it's a difficult or unpleasant situation for you, it's an adversity.
Mm-hmm.
But the bit of the adventure where I take people through is the fact that when you talk about adventure, you're talking about an unusual and exciting or a daring experience. And I believe even as children of God, that is what God wants us to do. He says he has given us all things that pertain unto life and godliness. But he doesn't dump it at our doorsteps. We have to go and search for it. We have to go look for it. And this is
That's
the
true.
problem a lot of us have. We don't want to do the doing. We want to do the
Hmm.
praying and we want to stay indoors and we want the manna to fall from heaven. And it does not work like that.
You know, I said to somebody yesterday, and it's something that sometimes, really, I must confess, it sometimes irritates me a little
Yes,
bit. When people are giving
yes,
their testimony, you just hear somebody, I receive it. I'm like, what are you receiving?
exactly. What you're
What
receiving. What are you receiving?
do you,
Receiving what there is
you
work
know?
to do.
Yeah,
There is
but
work.
go ahead.
You must do the work. You must do the work. In fact, there has to be a going through before there is a growing. You must
Wow.
go through. People don't want to
Mm.
go through, but they want to grow. They want to, look at the Joseph experience. Who wants to go to prison? Everybody wants to go to palace. Nobody wants to go to prison. Nah,
Yeah.
God forbid. I reject it in Jesus' name. What did Joseph bring out of the
You're
prison?
sounding like me. I like this.
I mean, and
You
I
are.
and I just wonder, do you know transition is a process from one condition to another. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the truth of the matter is sometimes transition might take, the bit where the scriptures say, except a weed or a corn or
Corn
something
of wheat
falls to the
falls
ground
out. Yeah,
and
yeah,
dies, it
yeah,
cannot. So there has to be dying sometimes. Sometimes there has to be a dying, there has to be a falling down, there has to be
yeah,
a starting all over. So I tell
yeah.
people, and I think it's one of the books I'm going to write soon, it's okay to start again. It's okay.
Mm.
We need to be intentional sometimes. And one of the things that I have noticed as I've spoken to people, and even with me, sometimes it happens, is like I think what we do is we react to situation rather than respond.
Come on now.
So when we react, when it happens, it's like how it is when we are angry with our children or spouse. Sometimes we don't think, we just get angry.
Yes, yes,
And then we
yes,
go back
yes.
and think, wait,
Yeah.
why did
What
I
did I do?
what
Yeah.
was that? What was that
Yes.
madness?
Yes, 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 yes. You're
What,
speaking so loud and
what
clear, woman of God. Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
what did I just do? It's crazy. I should have handled that better, shouldn't I? So
Hmm.
that actually affects a lot of us, because we are so quick to react rather than respond, rather than sit back and think, okay, sit down, clear your mind. What is happening here? God,
Yeah.
what do you want me to learn from this situation? You know,
Yes.
I mean, I could have chosen to be bitter. I know
Mm.
people who are bitter about this pandemic, and I wonder, what are you bitter about? You have
Wow.
life. Some people have
Yeah.
gone. You have life, and you're bitter. What are you bitter about? Oh, this, oh, that. Do you know how many people have gone on from the transitioning some people have gone through during this pandemic? It's amazing. It's mind blowing. I'm sure you know it.
Yeah.
Some people have not sat down. People are making money, and some people are sitting out there bitter. Bitter
Hmm.
about what? What are you bitter about? Thank God for life and ask God, God, this is happening. What do I do now?
What do I do
What
now?
do I do now? And that is the thing I hammer into people's. I tell them, listen, stop getting angry. And I have this favorite saying, why get bitter when you can be better? You can
That's
be
so
better.
true.
Forget about being
Yeah.
bitter.
Yeah.
Better is better than bitter.
That's true.
Don't get bitter. So for me, going through adversity has taught me to respond to changes, because what happens is when you react, the change will lead you. But when you respond,
Mm.
you lead the
The
change.
change.
You are the one
Okay.
in control. You are the one
Okay.
in control of that change now, rather than the change leading you, rather than
Mm.
the adversity or the setback leading you.
Mm. Yeah.
You know, and like we said, it's all coming from it all stems also from a place of our, like we said, our mind and our attitude. Our attitude, I think it was Zig Ziglar that says our attitude rather than our aptitude that determines our altitude.
Altitude. Yeah.
Yes. So our attitude can become an asset and it can become a
Mm-hmm.
liability. For a lot of people, it is a liability.
Mm.
It is a liability. I'll share you with you very quickly, Pastor Praise.
Yeah.
Whilst I was waiting, and whilst even I went back to uni, what I was doing. Now,
Okay.
like I said, I went into care. I went with a positive attitude. I was doing what they were teaching me to do. I was picking up all the nuggets and all the trainings. Went back to, whilst I was at college, obviously my friends' children, I went to my local college. And
Mm.
obviously I could see my friends' children in college. Some of them were looking at me like, what's Auntie doing
Yes.
here? Like, one of my friends called me and said, oh, my daughter saw you. I said, yeah, I saw her. She was with her Caucasian friends. And when she saw me, she didn't know whether she should courtesy, because normally, they courtesy a bit. And she was looking at me like, should I courtesy or should I just say hi? And I just gave her a fist bump. I said, we're in college together. Don't worry. Same now. So that attitude helped me, because if I sat down to look at where I was coming from, Pastor Praise,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be depressed.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been
Mm-hmm.
depressed, because I just thought,
Mm-hmm.
Lord have mercy. What is like starting all over? How did I get here? It's
Mm.
like starting all over again. But I thought, no, don't look at it that way. There must be something in this,
Yeah.
you know. And I
Yeah.
and I went through that. I went to uni. Even at uni, some people were calling me, some of our I had a German lecturer, or a Caucasian lecturer. So they were hearing some people call me auntie or sister. They were like, why are they calling you? And you know what? All through college and uni, I had my hair very low. So I looked quite young. So I like that, actually. That was really good. I looked
You
quite
still
young.
you
So
still do look young, by the way. You look
I would
beautiful.
always bounce like I'm young as well, well, I'm here now, so enjoy it. You must well enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
You found yourself in that situation. Enjoy it. So I went through all that, I went through uni and all that. But what I was going to bring out is, sometimes our attitude is what will open doors for us, even when we're still trying to
Mm.
understand the phase that we're going through. When we have a positive attitude towards something, we might not be able to do everything, but it would help us do it better than we would have if our
Mm.
attitude, was otherwise. So I was serving. In my community, I started to serve. I started to
Mm.
serve all the counselors. I was working. In fact, I think my second year in my borough, because I was already serving and doing all the community stuff, the the appointed mayor then just asked me, would you want to be my learning disability champion? And I was like,
Okay.
oh, okay. I didn't see that coming, and that was how I worked with her through the year, as a disability champion. We were going through all the learning disability institutions in the borough, just talking to them, creating awareness as well and things. And I thought, I could have just, it was like a new opening for me. And that is what I want people to take as well. Sometimes adversity might be a new opening. It might be that God wants to open something else for you. So if you see it that way, it might be there's a new pathway God wants to take you through that you will not have otherwise discovered if you have not gone through that adversity. If you were still saying that, oh, I really want to be that, I no, and I no go agree. Oh, that financial accountant, I must do it by force. Pastor Praise, I went to job center to collect benefit one day. Not even they tell you to sign on and every 2 weeks. And then this is my brother, as in I don't know him, but my brother from my place. And then he looked at me and said, madam, now wow. So you are coming to collect benefit. You should go and be an employer. He was joking as far as he was concerned. The thing was paining me. I'm thinking, hey God, go and be an employer. And anyway, when you're employing people, please remember me. I said, okay.
Sounding like a Joseph experience, isn't it?
I'm telling you. I went back home. I said, oh my God. Since then I said, I'm not collecting this benefit again. This is bondage. This is bondage. Go and look for something. I don't care what. Look for something to do. And another thing is there is dignity in labor. People stop looking at where you're coming from, especially if you have found yourself in a place of adversity. Don't look at where you're coming from. Look at where you're going. There's a bigger picture sometimes that a lot of people don't know. And the Bible says anyway, we know in parts. We don't even know anything. 1/4 of what our life, until we don't know. So our attitude is very important. The limiting beliefs that we need to deal with is so important, because the thing is, our belief has the power to create and the power to destroy. So we have a choice. It has the power to create and destroy. We have a choice. We have, the experience in our lives. We give it the meaning that we choose to give it. We give it the meaning we choose to give it. And then our limiting beliefs sometimes is a result of the things that we have learned over the years. And I think what lockdown should have taught a lot of people is we need to learn to unlearn some things and then relearn new things. Because some of us, we've been so used to our usual way of doing things that even if God placed an opportunity in front of you, you will not see it. You won't see it, yeah. You won't see it. I don't know if you've heard the story of the 9-inch frying pan. I love to share that story. So this is two fishermen. This is two fishermen, at the lake, and they were fishing. And one noticed that the other, anytime he caught a big fish, he'll throw it back. And then he will catch a small fish and he will put that in his basket. Big fish, he throw it back. Small fish in his basket. So he walked to him. Why? You've been so lucky today catching big fish. Why are you throwing it back? He said, oh, I only have a 9-inch frying pan at home. So the man looked at him, really? Because you have a 9-inch frying pan, so you're throwing the big fish at home. And my African mind was telling me, can you imagine? Why not catch the big fish, go and sell one, and use it to, or at least cut it into two? Why would you throw it?
Oh God.
Or sell it and go and buy a bigger frying pan.
Yeah.
And then you know what that story actually teaches me as well is the fact that sometimes we don't think beyond ourselves. Yeah. So that fish, is thinking for him, or I don't know if he has a family or whatever, but it's all about what he can, this is what I need. Meanwhile,
one of our friends calls this, I'm just hearing it, stinking thinking. When she calls it stinking thinking, and unfortunately, it is a reflection of that. When the mind cannot think beyond, it's so easy to say, "Well, I don't know, I can't do it." Exactly. I can't do it. This is not for me. You ever say, "This is not for me."
This is how I've always been. This is how
yeah.
Yes,
and then
too
you try
old
to help. They go, well, you're trying to push me to do something I don't want to do.
Exactly. So I'm too old. I'm too out. I'm too thin. Oh, yeah, they said some people are making it. Yeah, it's only for some certain kind of people. So that is you playing small. That is you playing small, and thinking this blessing, this type of blessing is for particular kind of people. God is not moved by who we are or what. He's not a respecter of any person. He's not a respecter of circumstance. He's not a respecter of situation. It is what you choose to do. That is what you will get. That is what you will get. And one of the things also about transition is the fact that we need to stop playing victim. We need to stop playing. There's a natural tendency to play victim when we experience setbacks, especially if you don't have control over it. If it was somebody else's fault, which happens, it could be somebody else's fault, but that does not mean we should stay down. It is their fault. But do you know what? If you think about it, sometimes we have a part to play, in the sense that sometimes we allowed it. Sometimes we allowed it. So we still have a part to play. So if I can take responsibility and say, you know what, I actually had a part to play. Either I did not teach them the way to treat me, and then that happened, or I just, there were no boundaries, or, it could be anything.
Or you could have even allowed it.
Yes.
There's
Exactly.
times when we allow things because the heart is young. The heart is,
right.
It's open, it's
That's
happy.
Right.
And
exactly.
Like, okay, it doesn't matter now, but then it becomes a time when it really matters. And then you begin
to
say, oh, what's going on? Yes.
This person's fault. This person did it. That person did that. So when we sit in that place, then we can move on. Yeah. When we sit blaming, pointing fingers, this person didn't make me this. I did not look at anybody when I was going through. So if people were looking at me and saying, what's wrong with her? She's going back to school. I care less. In fact, I had less friends there. I turned off everything that would not build me, because I thought, I am not young anymore. I cannot afford, to play with my life. This is my life. I have children looking up to me. So what legacy would I want to leave? What examples would I want to give them? And I thought, no, you must tackle this head on.
Yes. Then Shabach, you've said so many things that, it's almost like you're covering the things I would have liked to ask, because you talked about, no, but it's great because you've talked about the mindset. So anyone that is just joining us this afternoon, I'm here with the lady Shabach. She's a transition and accountability coach. And she's also written a book, the author of the book, From Adversity to Adventure. And she's just really explaining the journey from accomplishment to the journey of going through the valley of Baca, to the journey of going back to the mountaintop. But what has stood out for me is the mindset that we've discussed about, having to ask yourself, okay, I'm here, but what's next? What is God teaching me in this place? And so many times, I want to bring that to you, Shabach. Many people hear that. And sometimes what I'm realizing, people are getting tired of such statements. It's like, you're telling me, like, I don't know that I'm going through it. But, there is a purpose for this message to be repeated until we come out.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've learned is that there's power in repetition. So maybe you're watching us this afternoon and you're thinking, I've heard this thing before, God has a purpose for it. I remember there was a time in my life when, the scripture from Romans chapter 8, it talks about all things working out for our good. As a young girl, there was a time I said, Lord, I can't see the good in this right now. I really can't see the good. I'm paining, it's hurting. But I'm trusting you enough to know what you are doing, and that eventually I will see the good. And woman of God, the journey has been at every given time, after probably the end of a season, I then see the good that then encouraged me. Oh yes, God knew what. Obviously, it's not like he didn't know what he was doing. I needed to let myself know that God knew what he was doing. It's There's nothing about God
You're
really.
right.
What I mean, he doesn't have a problem. He's not confused. He's got everything in place. I think it's our
Yeah.
own mindset that needs to be corrected, and which is what you keep emphasizing. Our
Yeah.
mindset. So, woman of God,
Yeah.
I just wanted just to speak to a few people. For your situation, it had to do with redundancy. Somebody is in transition with a relationship.
Yeah.
Somebody is transition with business. Somebody is transition with their career, just like yourself. That you had to go back to studies. Somebody's in transition, even with locating.
That's right.
Having to relocate from one place to the other. What can you say to encourage them this afternoon, ma'am?
All right, thank you for that. And I like the point that you brought out, saying that sometimes people hear these things and they're like, I've heard it before, they've come again. They always say this, they always say that. First, I would say, you know what, we need to be very sensitive and discerning. God says his ways are not our ways, his thoughts are not our thoughts. And you mentioned something I picked as well, and I've got something like that. I've got a chapter on that in my in my book, sorry, and that's seasons. You see, seasons for each person is different.
That's right.
You have to know whether you're in your own summer season, whether you're in spring, whether you're in autumn, whether you're in, you need to know the season you're in. So because somebody comes out to say that, oh, praise God, this is my testimony, I did this and did that. You see, a lot of times, a lot of people don't tell you the process they went through before they got to that place. You are just hearing the glory after the story. There is a story before that glory. There is a process. People don't like process. People don't like process. A lot of people that are saying, I've heard it before, I'm tired. They don't want to go through process. That's the basic truth. I've met a lot of people like, they just don't want to go through the process. There is a process that you must go through. And you must find out that process yourself. And that will determine, or that will stem from having found out which season you're in. Do you understand? So I'm not looking forward to summer that much. It's not really my favorite, even though everybody likes summer. But I love spring because it's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's not too. So sometimes we find ourselves in different seasons that we like, seasons that we don't like. But we must go through it, whether we like it or not. It's there. You cannot change it. You can't alter it. It's there. So how can I make myself like summer? Because I sneeze, because I have this. Before I go out, I put whatever it is to prevent myself from having a fever and things like that. So what process? People start asking, what process do I need to take? What process do I need to go through? And I mentioned, stop looking down on, sometimes the process might not be what you like. Sometimes the process will be hard. Sometimes the process will not be favorable. And that is where humility comes in.
Right.
We are nothing but by God's grace anyway. It does not matter. Listen, you can be, my dad always says something. I remember he used to say, listen, there's a difference between a pepper seller and a pepper seller. People are packaging these days. Some people will sell some things to you and you'll be wondering, wait, why did I buy this thing? This is so expensive. It's the packaging, It's the packaging.
Just yesterday, I said to someone, I said, my journey, I was just speaking, I just heard myself saying that my journey is a grace journey. It's not hard work, it's a grace work. It's a grace walk, because there's so many things that that this is nothing but grace. It's not hard work. It doesn't put off hard work, but when grace is at work, it outweighs.
Yeah, but Pastor Praise, how do you attract grace? You step out. So you don't sit down and grace. Exactly. This is the thing people don't want to. So they look at you and say, oh, I want to do what Pastor Praise is doing. You don't come out to tell them. Sometimes maybe there have been disappointments. Sometimes maybe there has been, you come on and you are thinking, oh my God, what am I saying? Or you look at your first videos and say, huh? Did I really say that? Or did I really do that? So many times people don't want to take that first step. That first step. And another thing, as a transition coach, I tell people, everybody needs either a mentor or a coach. People don't want to hear that as well. You want to do things by yourself, you
Yeah,
can only go so far.
that's
You
true.
can only go so far. But if you have somebody who holds you accountable, I have a coach. If I have more than one coach, and I have a
Wow.
mentor, you understand?
Wow.
So that
Mm.
if I'm drawing back, or I'm weary, or it's always good to tell some trusted person what you're
Yeah.
going through and what you want to do. When I was
Mhm.
writing my book, I had at least 3 people that I said, this is my, apart from my book coach, I even had a book coach. It's not that I can't even write the book myself, but I had a book coach just to hold me accountable. So I said, okay, I'm writing this book and this is my timeline. And I need you to be on my, as in, you need to be
In
on my
my
case.
case, yeah.
And
Yeah.
do you know that one of them, one of my sisters, bless her, when she's on, in fact, when I see the phone, oh, I'm like, oh, I'm the one who told her to be calling me. But then when I see her call her, she's calling me again. I don't really want to go through that. I've not done this chapter. I've not done. I knew she's going to ask me. So what does that help me do? I'm accountable to her. That keeps me on my toes. So my advice is, a lot of people, you want to do things and you
Mm.
find yourself stuck. You need help, but you're not asking
Mm.
for the help that you need. If you
Mhm.
need help, seek for help. I was sharing on Monday, with the scripture that says, ask and it shall be given, seek and you shall find, knock and the door shall be opened unto you. And that is just the totality of our lives. There is
Mm.
nothing we want to do if we don't ask, seek, and knock. Ask. We must. There is no way. You can't even know it all.
Yeah.
So, especially if you're now in a position where life has kind of dealt you a blow, and then you sit there and you either moan, or you're blaming, or you're depressed. There are cases that I've, that's why I said I don't downplay adversity. So there are cases that you might need therapy. you know
Mhm.
there are places that you just need someone to hold your hand and say, please, I cannot walk this road alone. I need help. So ask
Mm.
for help. Ask for
Some of these
help.
things that you are sharing with us about therapy, about coaching, is very new to some of our our culture,
Yes.
because
Yes.
we have a culture of just get up and go, just pull
Yeah.
yourself together and just do
Get
what
on
you
with
need to
it.
do. You don't have. There's no time for depression. There's no time for you to be down. Just pull yourself
Yes.
together. Just snatch yourself out of it.
Yes.
Shake yourself out of it.
I know.
That is the culture that we have. So when people are
True.
hearing this, they're thinking, here she goes, she's giving us some kind of, English kind of approach, to go
Yeah.
for a coach, to go for
Yeah.
therapy. What is all these things that these people are now, introducing to us? Shabach, can you just give us some insight into
Yeah.
that, please?
Okay. So the thing is, and I hear you so loud, and I think that the things that there are so many things I mentioned before, that there's some things we need to unlearn and then begin to
Yeah,
relearn.
yeah,
Um, I'll take, for instance, uh, this lockdown, the pandemic
yeah.
happened. The people that it favored with, some were quick to get up and begin to realize, I need to change the way I do things. Some
Mm,
people, it was difficult because they're so used to, this is me, this is how we do it. So take, for instance,
mm,
churches, right? Places of worship, who used to be online and were doing online before pandemic. It wasn't a struggle for them because they are
that's
used to
true.
it.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
people who are like, you must come into the four walls, it was a struggle. They might lose members to those who are already been online. Everybody's now, and with pandemic, you can go to 10 churches in a day now. just just move, move, move,
I
move.
like the way you do
So
it. It's the truth.
it's just the truth. People
This one
just
is not
switch.
sounding right. Let me move.
I know. Okay. Okay. Oh my God, this is better. So some people were prepared and some people were not. Now, the thing is, with our approach to, this is how I've always done things, just get on with it. People need to ask themselves, is it working for me? We need to be true to ourselves. Nobody can be true for you. You need to be true to
Mm.
yourself.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm used to the approach of snap out of it, if I was joking with my mom the other day, anytime she calls and we discuss something and she goes, "It is well." I said, "Hey, we have come again. This one is not well, oh, mommy. What can we do? It is not well." So she goes, she said, "What can we say now? It is well." I said, "I'm not saying don't say it is well, but if it needs to be dealt with, let's deal with it." So we cannot continue to say it is well when it is not well. We cannot have a headache and say it is well when you need to go to the, and say it is well. No, 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 no. I'm not saying don't confess. Where is your action after the confession?
Yeah. A man of God call says
So
you need to pray, act. Pray,
exactly,
act. Yeah.
exactly. So this is where coaching comes. For me, where coaching comes in is the fact that one of the things that in our culture is an issue as well is, who can I trust?
Okay.
So you think that people are actually praying and confessing. When they go back into their room, that is when you know that prayer and confession is not working. So please don't get me wrong, guys. I'm not saying prayer don't work. But what I'm saying is, some things are so deeply rooted in us.
Mm.
Some things have been, so engraved in us that we need help. So we can't do it with a get up and go. Don't snap out of it. Don't worry. It is well. God said this. There's a new phrase. There's a new slang that is happening now. I don't really want to mention because I don't want to, everybody just says it. And I just wonder, why are we so religious? Every phrase that comes out, everybody just starts, and it's a matter of asking yourself, be true to yourself. Okay, is my get up and go approach working for me? If it's not working for you, please seek help. Stop saying that this is our culture.
Yeah.
There's nothing,
Yeah.
got nothing to do with culture. Some things
Mm.
will take you, like I said before, some things will take you going down before you can come back up. Some things will open up for you because it wants you to soar. There is something deeper inside you that you might not know yourself, that somebody else can help you find out and delve into you. It just needs ignite. It's like a car. A car does not, you cannot see how a car works or how powerful or how is it until somebody drives it. So you turn the ignition on. But a lot of us sit down on our gifts, we sit down on our talents, and we're confessing and professing, and it's the same thing year in, year out. So my question is, ask yourself, is it working for me? If it's working for you, praise God. If it's not working for you, be true to yourself, seek help. Seek help.
Okay.
Otherwise you sit on that thing year in, year out. You count the number of years and think, somebody yesterday, a lady I adore so much, it was her 25 years wedding anniversary. She was like, "Oh my God, where did the years go?" She did not even know. She couldn't even believe it. So we sit on and the year just runs and you're thinking, how did we get here?
Yeah.
Do you understand? So people are sitting in pain. People are sitting in depressive states and moods because they've been taught to get on with it. They've been taught to just pray.
And they don't
They've been
know,
taught
and they
to
don't know how to navigate,
They
from
don't know
where
how
they
to
are to where
navigate
they
it.
need to go.
Exactly.
Lady
So
Shabbat,
really, for
yeah.
me, a coach doesn't really tell you what to do. No, we don't say
Okay.
this is what you should do. It's in you, but it's just to help you find it out. It's there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
there. It's just,
Thank you.
how can we work with you? So
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for enlightening us in that. So if you're watching us and you do need help, Lady Shabak has just mentioned that maybe you're in a place of transition and you don't know. You might know, like, I like what you just said. It's not that they're going to tell you what to do, it's to draw out of you what you
yeah,
already know. So there is
exactly.
solution inside of you, but there's somebody that would help you to navigate, from where you are to where you want to go. And I'm sure people can get in touch with you. How can someone get in touch with you, Lady Shabak, to maybe they want to use your service or they want to grab a hold
Yeah,
of your book, From Adversity to
yeah.
Adventure?
Okay, so my book is on Amazon, From Adversity to Adventure. That's on Amazon. You can go on my website as well, ladyshabak.com, if you want me to send it directly to you. Special delivery, with a gift. So you can get that on my website, ladyshabak.com. I'm on Instagram, call me _Lady Shabach. I'm on Facebook, Shabach Events and Coaching. Where else? I'm on LinkedIn, Fumi Akisoya Alake on LinkedIn. So yeah, you can get in touch with me on those sites. And if you go on my link on my Facebook or Instagram, I've got a Calendly there. If you want to book a session, a 15-minute session, a 30-minute session, just a discovery call, to just find out where you're at and where you want to go. You can link up with me or DM me on Instagram and Facebook,
Okay.
whichever
Okay.
suits you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been
Thank
a
you so
pleasure
much.
speaking to you. Sometimes when
Same
I hear
here.
people like this, I'm like, it's like I found one of my clients, I found one of my sisters who is speaking the same language. So and it's so powerful. It's so powerful, when you
Thank you.
hear other people with that same mindset. So people know that no,
Mm.
nobody's isolated. There are people out there that are
Yeah.
here. God has
To
just
help.
used them to be an encourager,
Yeah.
and to motivate you to keep moving forward. And I really
Exactly.
commend you for, your approach to the days of
Yeah.
adversity that you were faced with, how you just, handle them with audacity. Like, this is, we're going to hold you by the horn and we're going to move from here. So
Exactly.
may the Lord continue to bless you. Thank you so much.
Amen.
And
Amen.
I'll
Thank you
definitely
so
be in
much.
touch with you. And thanks to
No
everyone that
worries.
has tuned in to today's show. Really appreciate your input. Janet, we've got Yemisi, we've got Priceless Eudora, we had Juliet, and anyone that is watching us also on YouTube. Thank you so much for your participation as well. Praise Talk Show will be here again next week, Wednesday, same time, with somebody else to inspire you and to help you with your journey in life. Everything starts from a conversation, I have learned. So don't underestimate these conversations. I made some notes. You would see that I made some notes when Lady Shabach was speaking. And maybe you want to go back. This is even a live coaching session that we just had, a live session, a master class, because she gave us some really sound tips of how you can handle days of adversity. The Bible says that if your strength was to fail in the day of adversity, so if you were to fail in the day of adversity, it means that your strength is small. But I pray that, in times like that, you would be strengthened. Don't wait for the days of adversity to be strengthened, by the way. So maintain yourself in God. So when they come, you would be able to get up and search for the right help to take you to your next season. Until I come back your way next week, stay blessed, stay on top. Enjoy the sunshine if it's happening at your side. Whatever the weather is, just make the best of it. We have just learned. God bless you. I love you all, and stay blessed.